Hi, and welcome to the Hopeloos Naar Hotspot Podcast. I'm your host, Sandra Pullman, director of Glowing Places, the international studio that makes places glow by urban development and, of course, collaboration. In this series, we investigate how we can transform areas that are struggling with vacancy and decline into places full of energy, development, and connection. With inspiring guests and examples, we show what works and how to tackle it. And today I'm talking to Mustafa Sherif. He's an urban planner and studio manager at AFRY, the director of Placemaking Sweden, host of the Urbanistica podcast, and a very passionate person about child-friendly cities. Mustafa, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, and thank you so much, Sandra, for inviting me.
Yes, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. I'm very happy. We will have an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure about that. Well, Mustafa, first we want to get to know you. So please tell us about yourself. Who are you? What drives you?
Well, I'm a person with a big passion to connect with people, and also like trying to do my best to to make people happy, and also to make people or create conditions so people can connect with other people as well. So for me, is everything about people. And I was born in Baghdad, Iraq, in 1993. And we moved to Sweden for, I think, 12 years ago because of the war in my country, Iraq. And here I studied and developed and work. So I'm based in Stockholm now.
Yeah, which is a beautiful city, I think.
It's a very beautiful city. Like this harmony between nature, water, and the urban city. Amazing.
Yeah, it's quite unique, right? Yeah.
Very, very unique. And I love people listening to us, to visit us in Stockholm, the capital of Scandinavia. You will love it.
Yeah, I still have it on my bucket list. So
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
hopefully see you soon.
yeah, maybe let's do that. Well, you work as a studio chef for urban planning for AFRY in Sweden.
Yeah.
What kind of organization is that?
Well, AFRY is very big corporate. We are 19,000 people in 55 countries. And we work with everything related to cities, like from energy to architecture to urban planning, urban design, anything when it comes to traffic as well. And my studio works a lot with the urban planning
Mm-hmm.
and with placemaking and with urban design. So we cover like this urban planning and design line, early stages.
Ah, yeah, I understand. And how many people work in your department, let's say?
In our department, around 22 people.
Okay.
So we are like a team in this big, huge corporate, and we collaborate a lot with other technical experts.
And do you also collaborate with with AFRY in other countries?
Yeah, we usually do that, but not so much because for us, focus on the geographical area. Like if I'm in Sweden, so I focus on Sweden as a market because it's good for the relationship with the communities, with the clients, with the like knowing the places. And sometimes if let's say Brazil need us, so we also go and help them and like this. But main focus is on the local community.
Yeah, okay. So it's a big firm, but with a local focus.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's amazing. It's amazing because you have people from different countries working in the same company, and when they share their projects, and it's so much different from what we work with. At the same time, so much inspiration we can get from them, and so on.
Yeah. So you have this cross pollination from other cultures, other nations.
Yeah, exactly. Like we work with the snow as an element in urban design. Some other people work with the sunlight as an element, you know?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Those different views. Yeah,
Yeah, very beautiful.
I can imagine. And well, you also work as a director of Placemaking Sweden. Can you tell us about that too? What kind of network is that?
Yes, well, this is a dream come true finally because when I started to learn more about placemaking since I was a student. So I had this dream to create a network here in Sweden. And I tried in the beginning a lot with different stakeholders and people and so on, but it didn't work because it was a lot to do with, but what's in it for me, how much money I will make out of it, and so on. Coming fresh from university, we didn't think so much about this economical perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, like a few years back, it didn't work. But I gave it one more try, but also with the same concept that it shouldn't be like an economical benefit. We want to start this, and then we can figure out how do we do it. I'm also this kind of person, like, let's do it. We don't need like to have a 10 years of strategical planning and then we do it. We do it now because we need it. The aim of the network is to highlight placemaking projects in Sweden, but also push more for this placemaking movement and methodology, so we can work with it now in Swedish cities. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful. I talked with two people, Fredrik Lindstall and Karin Lekberg, and I told them, I have this dream. Can we make it happen? We need it. And they'd be like, yes, of course, let's do it. So we started the network now, and we have an amazing number of followers across the country, and also
How many?
we have now like a official 1,000 people, and we just started. So there's like a big need, and we all also like moving to start a Nordic one. So bringing together all the Nordics countries and local communities. So we are pushing it to the next level. So we are very happy.
Yeah, and the necessity is, I think, because placemaking is not so much, not so, how do you say it? Not so done very much in Sweden yet.
Yeah, this is the thing is that in Sweden, the system and the culture is that when people pay taxes and everything else is related to the city to take care of when it comes to urban design, maintenance, and all of these activities. So you don't see so much of this local initiative. And it's a cultural thing as well because the municipality functioning well and so on. In some other countries, like people unfortunately they need to do it by themselves because the municipality is not giving back something. But what we see here is that it's became like very very bureaucratic, and cities start dying because it's not really responding to the communities, and some many of the places start to become uh, dark and sad, and people don't want to be there. And here we need this kind of okay, now we need the communities to be part of this urban planning and design, making cities and places more livable, because now like cities are not really giving or making livable places anymore. They are of course doing, but
Of course, but they take care of it, and so it
yeah,
becomes a bit
so we need,
boring and
yeah.
not, yeah, not
So
so lively.
that's why, well, that's why we need we need communities to be part of this and to contribute, to create, instead of maybe we wait 5 years to get something, or we wait this amount of time. So we can also be part of creating life and between buildings.
Yeah, and a lot of innovation, social innovation,
Ah,
economic
yeah.
innovation comes from working together on things like this.
Exactly. And usually we do it like in many placemaking projects, we do it together with the municipality. So we make life easier for them as well.
Of
And
course.
that turns in something good because this is what community wants. At the same time, we do the job of municipality as well.
Yeah, but I think it's a need for governments as well to know what people really care about,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
problems are. I mean, and if you help them to find that out, it's
Exactly,
good.
because this is the case maybe in many municipalities. They are slow because of the process and bureaucracy, and that's fine because it's money of it's taxes money of people and shouldn't be wasted so fast. So they should think twice. But sometimes they think 10 times before they spend it, or maybe it's spent on other stuff than what communities want. So I think placemaking could be a key to match make between needs, dreams, and objects that communities deliver.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that you do, and then you can combine it with the the long-term vision and the structures and
Of course,
yeah.
of course, of course. It's
But
we 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 are not new in this, and this is nothing new. It's many other cities doing it. So for us, it's just like to get inspiration and adapt it to the Swedish context and do it.
well, it's nice to learn about Swedish context. I didn't know that that was the challenge you had over there.
Yeah,
So now I understand.
it's too okay. This is from my perspective. Of course, you need to talk to other people and see what their perspective. But in this episode, it's my perspective. So if it's things in Sweden are too fixed. There's a very good structure. The areas are clean and system is functioning. So it's became like too functional system, and maybe it's affect a bit or the social aspect of public spaces. Everything is very programmed. Everything is very clean. Everything is following exactly the same methodology, and it's too much of structure that kills the public life.
Yeah.
So in some public spaces. So I don't want to say everything in Sweden is like this, but
No,
this is
no,
the
no.
challenge.
Yeah, I really understand what you're saying. Yeah, that can also be a very big challenge, and also to encourage and to inspire people to
Yeah,
to do something about it and to
yeah, exactly. So I think the challenge is more like to create this organic way of activating public spaces than forcing a kind of activities so people can do it when they are outdoor. Like we shouldn't program too much on people's life.
yeah, because when you program it, you know in advance it won't work.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean the most beautiful parks have been designed and they look awesome, and then you come there and nobody is
Yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah. Like from my window now, when I look down, we have this what do you call it, garden between buildings.
Mm,
I can see benches and so on, but nobody is using it because they are like uh, placed in a specific way with a specific type of material and not really responding to what we are here in the community needs or wants and so on. So no one is using it, and it's like waste of resources and time and money.
yeah, and we don't want that. Yeah.
No.
Good thing we have placemaking, and you also have a podcast, the
Yes.
Urbanistica podcast.
Hmm?
I'm very interested in that as well as a podcast maker myself.
Exactly.
Please tell us, why did you start that podcast and what does it bring you?
I started the podcast because the story goes back like this. I when I studied, I was a lot like looking on the internet, searching, reading about others' projects and so on. As a student, you have so much time and you can do whatever you want and exploring everything. So when I graduate and start to work, uh, I was working from 8 to 5 and in a very specific 2 or 3 projects, and then go home, like this. So
Mm,
I lost a kind of the connection with the world and with the thing that I used to do, like to see what other people are doing, to learn from them, and so on. So I thought, and also I experienced that I was in a box just with my 3 projects, and I don't have time for other stuff. So I started to write people on LinkedIn and say, "Hello, architect X, can we meet for a coffee? I want to learn more about what you do and so on." And some people say, "Yes, we can meet," and I very appreciate their time. We met, we talked about interesting stuff, and then when we went, like, thank you, we went home. So the conversation was interesting, but not documented. And it happened like this. Like the day after, I hear my colleagues, they say, I love to hear more about how do you manage like sewage water, or how do you combine child-friendly city with the green and urban development. And I was like, I just talked about this yesterday with this colleague.
you should have
So
been there.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I that's why I wanted to document. At first, I wanted maybe to write like a text, but I'm very bad in writing. Then I wanted to do videos, but people don't feel comfortable in front of camera, many of them. So then I say, okay, I do a podcast because then it's just voice and so on. And I did it, and I started 5 years ago. And now after 5 years, we have 500 episodes recorded with more than 600 guests, and we have listeners from 145 countries. So I'm so grateful.
It's amazing. I mean, it's just I think you're a person that when you have an idea and you just go for it, it goes like boom.
Yeah. I think we shouldn't wait with when we get the idea, when we get this magic, we should just do it. And instead of analyzing and waiting, and there will never be a perfect moment. There will never, ever be a perfect moment.
Yeah, so right. Yeah. I think we share that a lot.
Yeah.
Like you sense this energy or this interest. Why is this not here? I might just as well do it.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Well, now let's talk about your passion,
Yeah.
about the child-friendly city.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to you?
And it is first I had no idea about what is child friendly cities and all this aspect because I studied in 3 different university high level universities in Europe, and the courses that I took we didn't speak anything about this aspect, so I had no idea. And I started to work here in Stockholm, and slowly I started to explore this topic. Not so many people working with it as well here. And it is important because I saw and I read in the scientific reports that for children, especially young children, we talk from 2 to 6 years old or to 7, it's essential for their development, uh, like physical development and mental health, to be in urban areas, not at home. Like they maximize their development when they are outdoor and physically, like through walking, jumping, climbing, interacting, like playing, moving, and mentally when they work together with other kids or meet other people and talk and try to articulate and doing like play with the fantasy and so on. So these 2 elements, it's urban design. So they gain their development by the urban design, and it affect them so much. And I started to see like some children are sick because of they're like a schoolyard is not so big, or because they are not moving because it's only car from school to home and so on, or
Mhm.
because they don't have places to meet their friends. And I start to realize, okay, this is important. At the same time, children, they don't have a voice. Uh, they don't come to these community engagement processes, and they cannot elect a politician so that they can get their rights. And that's why, like, I decided that my mission is to create places for children and for all people, but for me focus children because it's essential, and it's up to us. Do we want to raise a generation who feel bad and sick and lonely, or do we want to raise a generation physically active, social, innovative, creating ideas, do good for society? It's so much to do with the urban planning
Yeah, it
and
does. And I
design.
think nowadays it's even more important because, I mean, I have children.
Yeah,
But now they are 12 and 17,
yeah,
and well, their need to go out is much smaller than when I was a child because
very.
they have all the screens and all the stuff, the games.
Yeah, they have. When I do this community engagement process and with children from schools or from youth hubs, they tell me, why should we go out? We have a better world within the screen. We have what we need. We just need to eat and drink in the real life and then go back to socializing in this digital. And I understand them. Like, look at public spaces, look at like city planned and so on. It's miserable. So I completely understand them. It's much funnier to play a PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, the surroundings are better.
Yeah,
They-
yeah, exactly. Like I can give you an example. There was like two young girls where we had this conversation about a project, and they told me there is no reason to be outdoor because the public toilet is not functioning, so we don't go. There are no like benches, and it's very dark. We are scared. So why there's no good experience. And now I talk with this like it's very extreme experience now, but we are not giving, or we're not creating good places for children to be outdoor, and then we complaining why they are on the screen 24/7.
Yeah. We do complain and we do say, you should go out. And then they look at you like, yeah, right. And let's go on. Yeah. I mean, when we talk about a child-friendly city, uh, what can it look like? What is a child-friendly city? Can you give us a picture?
Yeah, I will try to paint a picture. It looks like a kind of 15-minute city with more car-free areas. What children needs, like areas or urban spaces that encourage them to move physically, to bike, walk, or even if you have like a wheelchair, so you can roll. So it's this you can access different areas. You don't need a car or you don't need your parents to move. So it's like this free or network that gives you freedom to meet your friends or to visit other functions. So this is one, this the mobility and movement and traffic. The number two should be clean. And with the clean, I mean also like with the trash and so on, but also from the traffic noise and from this contamination. This is the area. And then we have the safe and secure. So they feel like I can go, I can be outdoor, I can walk, I can play with my friends, and I shouldn't be worried about something. And of course, that we need these different functions like the school. How far is it from the bus station? How far is it from the boutiques? How far is it from the living areas? So this like the zoning. Instead of maybe school is here and the housing area is somewhere else, like this division. And of course, a lot to do with including them so they feel responsibility and they can contribute to this process of urban development. And yeah, when it comes to playground and so on, there should be something for them as well.
Yeah. When you said that it needs to be clean, I was
Yeah.
thinking about when my son goes outside. He goes to play football, and it's a little field here in the neighborhood, and he comes back and he's so dirty every time. I think they also need places to get dirty, you know?
Exactly. For this, I mean, like this is fine. How to say, playing in the football or on the grass and or something.
Yeah, a safe place to get dirty is also very important.
Yeah, but here it's more focus about like this health cleanness. You know, like instead of having a trashy place or this matter of cleans. But of course, again, I'm against too structured and too fixed. How do you call it? Public spaces or areas. There
Yeah.
should be this organic, livable element as well.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. It's just that it came into my mind, and when he goes out, you see
I
so
also
much.
I also remember when we played, and here in Sweden usually it's rain or snowy, so things get dirty. And when I come home, so family tells me, "Don't step in, stay there."
First under the shower.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and so how do we work on it? From planning to one-on-one scale?
We work on it like we integrate it in the different scales. From in the policies, we need to have these guidelines of, as I mentioned, zoning. We need to have these principles and guidelines when it comes to bus station, how much is distance between each other, what kind is it car free, streets, and like what spaces we have, and so on. Like this very bold and big scale principles and guidelines or goals. And then we take it down to the next level when it comes to maybe master planning, where we place different functions, playgrounds, schools, area, living houses, and so on. And then when we take it down, even follow up one-to-one scale, we talk also about entrances. How many entrances in 100 meters? How high is the sign of information? Do we have benches? Do we have public toilets? Do we have lightings? And all of this is the surface and the material easy for people with disabilities to be there, or no, it's a barrier, and all of this. So you can follow up from the policy, very like this large scale, and with every stage in the process, you can take down this goal to one level that fits with the scale. So you can play with it from the policy to the one-to-one, and to talk about which color, how high, which material, and so on, and involve the kids as well in making this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And of course, for us placemakers, involving the people we do it for is very important.
Yes, it is essential. Like it's all about them.
Yeah, it's all about them. So how
Yeah.
do you connect with the children in those local communities?
Yeah, it is a bit sensitive when it comes to children, because
Yeah.
we cannot just like stop kids in the street and say, "Hey, hello, join us. We have this," or I cannot just ask a small child, "Hey, give me your opinion." So usually we, as adults or as a placemakers doing projects, we connect with children through different organizations like schools, youth hubs, or associations, and because they are already existing communities. And through them, we build a relationship with the community, and together we do projects. So that's how we access like this large number of kids. And all this like association, schools, and youth hubs, they have a dialogue with the parents of the kids. So they get an okay that your child will participate in this, and so on. So we just like team up with existing communities.
Yeah, that's very wise. And so when you have access to those kids, what do you do with them so that they can think with you?
Yeah, we bring like a project. Let's say we want to develop a public space, or we want to reprogram what's around the school or a street, or we want to do a master plan, so we need to collect data. And with them, so we explain to them the project we have and how much they can influence, because sometimes they have big dreams and it don't come reality, and they get sad, and they blame us. So
Especially children, they have very big dreams. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You
So
told them, yeah.
it's our responsibility to explain to them what is the scope and what is reality, what are we talking about now, so they don't get sad and cry. And uh, and then by time we work together, okay, first time we meet, then we start maybe to talk. Third, we go out and build something or sketch, and so on. But for me, I focus a lot on building a relationship with the community. So we have a lot of pizza, we have a lot of fruits, we have a lot of games. I play a lot, like gaming. So it's also a conversation starter for me to like be a good friend with this community.
Mm.
So it's a lot to do with building a relationship and doing a project. Usually, as adults, we want to like deliver. We have these KPIs. We have 3, maybe 4 workshops, and that's it, because we want to be effective and budget and all this.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, kids will be like, okay, but we don't know you. You are here. You want to use our experience for your project. What is in it for us, and all of this stuff. So I'm trying to make it more the process more like humanistic community and friendship.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially for kids. Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, it has to be very clear that it's not that you're taking something from them, but that you want to give something to
yeah.
them.
They
Yeah, and
they
that they can
they
be a part.
they for kids, they don't realize that we are getting paid, and we are using them to take data for our own project. Of course, the project will be for them later in the future, and so on. But for me, it's important to pay back something at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
Maybe it's with food, maybe with the activities of play, or with knowledge, and so on. So they have something now, and of course, hopefully, after a few months or weeks, depends on the project, they will get their place.
Yeah. But I think you're that's very spot on. Children need something in the here and now also.
Yeah, yeah. They don't ask for it,
No, but it's
but it's
yeah, that's
it's
children.
it's yeah. It's I mean, like from adults, we should give back because we are taking.
Yeah, but also, I mean, children are much more in the moment than we adults are. We are
Yeah, yeah,
thinking about the future. We're responsible,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
so and
It's
they just want to have a good time as well. And they,
yeah, exactly. They live the moment. They enjoy the moment. Life didn't shape so much of their brain and put them in responsibility, so they don't see. They just see just colorful, beautiful life now because yeah, they still children.
yeah,
It's so funny because sometimes when we do a project with the municipality, uh, some persons from municipality they come and talk policies with children. Oh, we want to develop this 2035, and here will be 10,000 houses and so on. And I look at the children and be like, what is he talking about? So like we need also to understand the way of storytelling with different groups, with politician, with children, with adults, with the students. So we need also like as a technical expert or urban designers, we need to be aware of this. I cannot just use some presentation that I did to my studio to use it with the children in the school. Just for me, it's good. So I save hours. I don't put so much energy. But come on,
yeah. So there are some really challenges working with with children. I mean,
a
yeah,
lot, a lot of challenges. Just like different groups, each group have their challenges. But
but I
with
mean,
children is a bit
it's
extra because
beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful what you describe. So they are very in the moment. So you have to deliver in the moment as well. It has to be
yeah,
enjoyable.
yeah. So we give back something so they understand and they appreciate.
Yeah, and you have to really to tell a story that appeals to them. That's
Yeah. And this is my favorite part is how to tell us an a clear story about a very complex urban development project that's very technical, very like what do you call it? Yeah, political agenda and complicated.
yeah.
So how do you make it in a way so children can understand and contribute from their aspect and part to this big complex project?
Yeah, and you also have to manage their expectations very well because they
Yeah,
can
yeah,
dream wild,
yeah.
but you
This
want to something that you don't want to make him sad,
no,
right?
no, exactly. And this has a lot to do with us professionals. So we explain a reality in a correct way so they understand how much they can influence and what can they influence and when can they influence. Instead of say, oh, what do you dream about? And nothing will come true. Then it's wasting of time again and data.
Wonderful. Yeah, I was talking to you about a future festival that I organized
Yeah.
2 days ago, and it was with adults.
Mm.
And to the adults, of course, you have to manage expectations, but you also have to say, "You may dream big." You
Yeah.
have to say it because otherwise they don't. And for children, it's like I think maybe more the other way around, right?
Yeah. For children, okay, don't dream so big. It is like this. And with adults, as you mentioned, please, when we do workshop, please, the sky is not the limit. Be creative. But it's interesting because it's life shaping our thoughts and experiences and responsibilities. It has a lot to do with how we think and how much we can think and how creative. So I'm fascinated every time we do workshop with kids or with adults to see like the level of creativity and thinking out of the
Yeah.
box.
That's the most beautiful thing. All those ideas that spring off from people you hadn't expected, they hadn't expected themselves. It just, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's there. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
It comes to fruition. Yeah, beautiful.
Mm,
I also I listened to a podcast that you made about very successful playgrounds in Sweden.
yeah.
And I really love what you shared there about the playgrounds that we have to think about. Can you remember? Can you tell us about what makes real successful playgrounds?
A real successful playground, it responds to the culture of community living there. So a playground in Sweden is not a successful playground in Sweden. It's not the same successful playground in Baghdad. Different condition, culture, weather, and so on, and way of playing games and everything.
Yeah.
I can talk now from what I have doing in Sweden, for instance. And successful playground is with elements that stimulate this physical activities. Usually we divide the playground to three parts. First one, we call it the main stage, where we put where we program activities so students or children can move physically. Both children and like who are enabled to move physically, and also other children who are disabled, but still they can move physically somehow, maybe wheelchair, maybe with other objects and so on. So it's like inclusive. And so this is like main stage, on stage we call it. And then we call it off stage. It's in between. There are activities, but like light. Some children, they are shy to be in the spotlight and do things, but they are very happy to play, but a bit not in the spotlight. So we give this kind of areas as well. And the last one is off stage, where children just maybe chill with their friends and eat, drink, watch people, or watch other children, and just do nothing, just be there. So usually when we think, as adults, when we think about children, we think, everyone wants to play, everyone wants to jump and scream and energy, but it's not the true. The truth is like there are different segments within children category.
Yeah, and we think about the on stage, but not about the in between and the off.
Yeah. So this is successful need to be zoned in this kind of different categories, and also a lot to do with accessibilities, with the flow, with the protection from the weather, with access to the water and toilets.
Yeah, so that was an eye opener to me when you talked about public toilets. I thought, never thought about it.
Because usually they have toilets. Depends on this. Now we talk in schools. I will just go out from this topic and talk about public spaces. Usually in public spaces there are no toilets, which made families go to a restaurant, buy something just to get in a toilet. So consuming culture. Or a family goes home in order to like go to a bathroom, a clean bathroom and so on, which kills the public life because they went back home. They are not in the public life anymore.
Yeah.
So this is a very necessary. Back to the playgrounds. Yes, of course, there depends on the design, but it's good to have like toilets close to the playground or what do you call it, schoolyard. So when they come out from playing, they wash their hands and clean and then go. Talking about your kid with the football, so the same concept. So you clean yourself and then you continue. Yeah, and the best successful playground or schoolyard is co-created with the kids in the area or of the school. Having them, we did a project, one of my favorite project. Our architects or landscape architects drawed, then we had kids with us giving feedback and drawing with us and so on. So they were a kind of our client.
Yeah.
And back and forth. And we made something that they're really happy about and use it and love it.
Yeah. How do children I mean, but how do they use the playgrounds they thought about together with you? What do they think about it? What do they say about it?
Like after building, or were we designing?
No, I mean when it's finished. How do
they are happy because for them they have never been of something come reality like this, and it's playground. It's like 5-6 hours of their everyday life, and for kids this playground or schoolyard is something very close to their hearts because they are happiest when they play. So they are like happiest children ever.
Yeah, I can imagine how much it does. Yeah, and it's their heart, really, like you say. Yeah,
they are how to say. Maybe kids. I don't have something scientific here, but children are happiest when they play. Really, like it's hard to to take them from a playground when they are in the flow of playing.
I know, I'm a mom. I know how it is.
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
to come eat. I don't have time.
No, exactly.
Yeah. And that's what you want to hear. I mean, we talked about all the gaming time online, and it's
Yeah,
difficult to pull them away from that. But when they're outside and when they're enjoying themselves,
yeah,
same thing.
yeah. And also, like, when you mention about your child with the football coming dirty, it's a sign that the match was very good because he played from his entire heart, like throw himself, run, and everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's not only the mud; it's also blood. Yeah, no problem. But I won. I won.
This is important.
Yeah, it's not just mud; it becomes even dirtier. Oh my god! Is there something else you'd like to share about this topic?
I like to share because usually I get the question of, so why we don't do it if you talk about it and it's so important and so on. So why it's not happening? It is not happening, unfortunately, not because we don't have knowledge. We have a lot of knowledge, many thousands of papers and books and everything talking about.
Knowledge, yeah, right.
Yeah, a lot, a lot. Every city has something, universities, schools. So we have knowledge. We have a lot of good people experience when it comes to placemaking and urban design within this topic. So we also have competent people with the skills. Money, we have money as well. Every city has money, but it's a question about where they place their budget. And this kind of child-friendly city, it doesn't cost so much compared to other infrastructure or other kind of project. The only thing that we are lacking is a brave leadership from cities or from property developers, the people who are actually owning a land and a budget. What I experience is that, again, we have all the conditions. We have children, we have community, we have experts, we have knowledge, we have budget, but we missing a brave leadership that say, okay, but I want together with you to make this child friendly or people friendly, that allocate the budget to communities to co-create public spaces or schoolyards or playgrounds and so on. I think this is the only thing that is missing in many cities, because people in leadership or in power position, they be like, oh, we didn't do this before. We don't want to risk this money. We don't know the output. And it's something new. So they are like afraid of trying it and so on. So it's a lot of question of leadership, brave leadership.
Yeah. And what you're saying is, I mean, that is for children, but also for involving everybody, the whole community with planning. Yeah.
Because child-friendly cities, it's not a huge playground for kids. No, it's about children, it's about their parents, caregivers, organizations, schools, and an entire city involved in this way of making cities.
Yeah. If it's child friendly or people friendly, yeah.
We say a city. We say a city for children is a city for all.
Yeah, it is.
And it's true, because what children require is not so much. It's very basic and works for everyone.
Well, I also have to convince a lot of organizations and governments to implement placemaking, the way of working.
Yeah.
But I see what always helps is inspiration of good examples and bad ones. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot, thousands of examples. Again, papers, communities, and now especially with the like this advanced social media, LinkedIn, TikTok, people putting knowledge, which is amazing. Podcast as well. So you can gather so many examples and study them and get to do the right thing.
Yeah. There are the examples, and now just do it, right?
Yeah, just do it. Yeah.
That's what you're saying. We have to just do it.
Yeah,
everything is there, but now we have to do it.
Like what are we waiting for? Really? Like we are in the position, in a very powerful position. Like our profession is very powerful and we can affect so much of people's life and future. So what are we waiting for? Come on, we are doing, if not for people, for whom?
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. So, so this is something that is really close to your heart. And is there something else, or maybe combined with this, that you would like to do work-wise, which is on your bucket list, work-wise?
Yeah, I have a lot of dreams.
Yeah, please tell me. Tell me
I
your dreams.
yeah, I I want to build something like together with a community construction, because usually when we do this community engagements, in the end we like order this object, benches or tables, and we order them and they deliver to this place. But my dream is to actually, in one project, we build them on site. So we go buy material and construct and so on. Like all this is a beautiful story about me doing it with communities. But unfortunately, like if from my type or the way of we work here in Sweden, it's hard to build because a lot to do with with policies and
And security and
security
insurance.
insurance. So one day I'm dreaming that I can actually get my hand dirty together with community and build something.
Yeah. Like a scouting person.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Then we get mud or blood. Let's see. The important thing that we win and create something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mud and blood, but it's from the heart, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you. I mean, you gave us a lot to think about, a lot of inspiration. Yeah, I hear many people talking about, oh, I really want to engage this group of people. And now we talked about children, and
Yeah.
we learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
What to do and what to think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prepare and yeah, I mean, and I think that's very valuable. So thank you very much for that. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. And children, I forgot to mention this kind of statistical to show the volume of children are around 30% of world's population. And same here in Sweden, around 30% of population from 0 to 18. So check also in your country and see, like, maybe we don't see them, but they actually exist.
Yeah, and if people want to get a more inspiration from you about child-friendly cities, where can I find more information?
They can follow me on LinkedIn. I publish a lot from what I do and documents, so we help each other and inspiring each other. So on LinkedIn, and also like a podcast, I also invite a lot of people working with this kind of topic because it's also my closest to my heart. So a lot of guests talking about this topic. So like these two are my two main channels. I communicate my work.
Yeah, and I also see you. I mean, I follow you on LinkedIn. I
Thank
also
you.
see that you do a lot of course, I love that. You organize events. Is there maybe a special event for the child-friendly city?
Yeah. We usually do a lot of this, like to share knowledge, to play, to eat, and so on. Like more for communities, like the festival you organized.
Yeah.
It's just to bring people together, to have fun, to learn something, and to bond as a community.
I mean, what a fun profession we have.
Yeah, exactly. Important, fun. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's something more powerful and joyful than this.
Uh, that can be, right?
Now we are talking like this, sitting in our this bubble of placemaking and thinking we are the best.
I mean, it's so much fun. Yeah. Let's not keep that a secret.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you, Mustafa, for this wonderful and inspiring conversation.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for inviting me. And I'm really also looking forward to take your knowledge in my podcast and so you can inspire our audience.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah.
Well, and then this brings us to the end of the episode. And I hope it inspired you, our listeners, our viewers as well. And we'd love to hear from you, right?
Yes.
If you had some insights or maybe some questions, contact us via LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you like. And please feel free to share this podcast with whomever you think it might concern or inspire. And well, thanks a lot for joining us. Stay tuned. See you next time.